Newsroom, multiple sources confirm Vance Bolter has been arrested near his farm in Minnesota. Bolter is accused of shooting and killed a Minnesota state representative and her husband in their homes. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jose Alonso. They say he was spotted on a trail via camera a few hours ago and then taken into custody. The farm he was found near is about an hour from where the shootings occurred. ABC's Faith Abube has more details.
Investigators say a man posing as a police officer allegedly shot and killed Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband inside their home early Saturday.
She was a true leader and loved her work, but was always so grounded and such a decent person. I think that's probably the best word to describe her.
Police say the same suspect was involved in a separate attack just 90 minutes earlier, allegedly shooting and wounding another lawmaker, Democratic Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette.
This is more than a regional tragedy. It's part of a troubling pattern, a wave of political violence that threatens the very foundation of this republic. And let me be clear, violence has no place in our politics.
Authorities identified the suspect as 57-year-old Vance Bolter. They say he's now in police custody. The FBI releasing images they say are of him just hours after the shootings in a cowboy hat. He's also seen wearing a latex mask outside one of the victims' home. Investigators say they've recovered several firearms from Bolter's vehicle along with No Kings flyers and writings mentioning the names of the victims and some abortion providers along with other Democratic lawmakers. Governor Tim Walz calling the deadly shooting politically motivated.
Speaker Hortman was someone who served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota.
ABC's Rachel Scott spoke to President Trump on the phone, asking him about the shooting and whether he planned to call Minnesota's governor.
We know that Vice President J.D. Vance did speak to him, and the president said, quote, "It's a terrible thing. I think he's a terrible governor. I think he is a grossly incompetent person." He says, "I may call him. I may call other people too." Republican Majority Leader John Thune and House Speaker Mike Johnson have both condemned the incident and all acts of political violence. Faith Abube, ABC News, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota.
And of course, we'll be following those developing details as they come in. But also just late into the newsroom, tonight a woman is suing Metro Corrections and Metro government for neglect, failure to train officers, and constitutional violations. According to the complaint, Sasha Sloan was in LMDC from November 29th of 2023 to December 19th, 2023, and again from April from 2024 to August of 2024. Sloan, who is HIV positive, says she was denied her medication while detained at LMDC, leading to severe health issues. Sloan is now suing Metro Corrections, several officers, and Metro government violating her constitutional rights. Sloan and her lawyers will speak to media tomorrow morning. In a continued push locally, the conversation of police reform in Louisville continues after the Trump administration moved to drop the city's consent decree almost a month ago. The Night Team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Aspen Hester explore what a new Metro Council resolution means for the city.
Any discussion on the original resolution?
Louisville Metro Council slimly voted 13-12 to pass a resolution endorsing the recommendations of the United States Department of Justice on improvements to LMPD.
And I didn't see anything in the language that had anything positive to say about our LMPD.
But not without lengthy debate.
The bad guys are gone.
Metro Council member Shamika Parrish-Wright and other colleagues sponsored the resolution.
LMPD has admitted that they are committed to moving us forward. This is just our part of that. It's our part to say, we hear you and we're ready to move forward.
The resolution points out 10 recommendations, but this resolution isn't law. And Metro Council member Anthony Piagentini argues the resolution isn't needed.
We had already agreed to do oversight through the Government Accountability and Oversight Committee, of which I'm the vice chair. That's nothing new. We didn't have to pass a resolution to say we're going to do that. That's existing law.
The resolution was something that was needed.
Community leader active in the city's consent decree, Bishop Dennis V. Lyons.
It definitely was wanted by our community.
Federal Judge Benjamin Beaton still has not taken action on the consent decree agreement between the federal government and Louisville, but Metro leaders continue to move forward, like Beaton will rule to drop the agreement. Mayor Craig Greenberg has a modified version of the consent decree, which includes the hundreds of reforms already made in the department. But community activists are still skeptical.
It's almost making it null and void until we see it with our eyes and feel it on our streets, we ain't gonna believe it.
In an action that's supposed to foster the rebuild of community trust in the police. In Louisville, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 Night Team, on your side.
Once that decision is made by the federal judge, applications for the independent monitor will open and details of listening sessions will be announced. And all new tonight, Louisville Metro Police say they shut down an illegal pop-up party along River Road last night, even calling it a sneaky attempt on social media. LMPD say they were contacted around 11:30 by Metro ABC asking for assistance shutting down the party. Metro ABC said several hundred people were in a parking lot across the street from the walking bridge. Take a look at this video from LMPD, which shows crowds of people coming out of a building that holds an event space. Officers did clear the area and say no arrests were made. And today at Ratterman Funeral Home, the public gathered to honor fallen LMPD detective Michelle Rush. Detective Rush died from cancer this week at the age of 35. She was with the department for 10 years as a child abuse investigator. Her work was always commended. Her two sergeants saying she was the best detective they had. During her own diagnosis, she helped care for a young victim of abuse. An 8-year-old girl, she emaciated, so emaciated, she weighed 22 pounds. Deputy Chief Emily McKinley said that case best described her work ethic.
The doctors said that this was the worst case that they have ever seen. And, that's one thing for detectives to get this case, but Michelle loved the work she did, and she loved the victims and the people that she served, especially the kids. And she visited this girl in the hospital daily, every day. Even on her days off, she went and visited this little girl in the hospital.
The LMPD Foundation does have a fundraiser up right now to help Rush's family cover funeral expenses. If you wish to contribute, we have information on our website. That's WHAS11.com. Rush's funeral will be held tomorrow afternoon. Israel and Iran are intensifying their attacks within the Middle East. This comes after Israel sent missile strikes against Iran's nuclear program last week. This killed top military leaders and nuclear scientists. President Trump says the U.S. was not involved in these attacks and has issued a warning to Iran. ABC's Selena Wang has the details.
A fresh wave of deadly attacks between Israel and Iran. Dozens of Iranian missiles and drones seen soaring over Jordan towards Israel. Israel's air defense systems intercepting most of the aerial assault, but several missiles did hit their targets.
We have some good defense systems, anti-missile defense systems, but they're not hermetically sealing the skies. So there's about 10 to 15% of these ballistic missiles that get through.
Israeli officials say there was a direct Iranian missile hit on a residential high-rise in the coastal town of Bat Yam. Meanwhile, Israel intensifying its airstrikes on Iran. A massive fire seen burning at an Iranian oil depot following an Israeli strike, according to the Iranian Ministry of Oil.
Because they own the skies over Iran, Israel now has the ability to take down all of the oil and gas infrastructure within Iran, which would bring the Iranian economy to a standstill.
These satellite images showing the before and after of this Revolutionary Guard military facility also hit by the Israeli assault. Israel claims it has killed at least 9 Iranian nuclear scientists since its surprise operation began last week.
The idea is to neutralize and terminate the Iranian intention of destroying Israel through nuclear weapons and through ballistic missiles.
ABC's Rachel Scott spoke to the president on the phone, asking him about reports that Israel has asked the United States to get more involved.
The president told me, we're not involved in it. It's possible that we could get involved, but we're not involved at this moment.
In a social media post, the president with a warning saying any attacks on U.S. targets would bring the full strength and might of the U.S. armed forces on Iran. And late today, we're learning President Trump rejected an Israeli plan to kill Iran's supreme leader. Selena Wang, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump said that he's open to Russian President Vladimir Putin serving as a mediator, something that Putin pitched in their recent phone call.
Well, we had another day where we were fighting those spotty showers and thunderstorms. As of right now, we are mostly dry. This is a look into Jeffersonville earlier this evening. Our high 89 degrees, a little bit above our average of 86 for this time of the year, and that low temperature is definitely above that average. It's definitely a little bit humid outside, so when you factor in the humidity, it feels a little bit warmer than the actual temperature. And as we continue to fight these spotty showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon hours, you're going to continue to see that humidity increasing. Over the next 12 hours, we're going to be dropping into the low 70s. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, to allow a little extra time, remember those low beams as you head out the house. We're going to have some pretty thick fog development around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. In fact, visibility could be less than a mile. It does look like things should be clearing up before the lunch hour, but our highs are going to be a little bit near that average. Once again, 84 degrees, keeping our eye on that morning fog, but we are tracking another afternoon of showers before we dry out. I have more details on that coming up in my full forecast.
Thanks, Danielle. And new tonight, the Kroger in Germantown is closed this weekend to deal with a rodent infestation. Earlier this week, the Louisville Health Department found evidence of the issue along 3 aisles. Those affected aisles contained bread and pasta products. The health department ordered Kroger to close that area, remove all product, and break down the shelving. Kroger had initially only closed the affected aisles, but now on Kroger's website, a message is letting people know the store is completely shut down until Monday morning. That's tomorrow morning. The liquor store, fuel station, and prescription drive-thru remains open. And the University of Kentucky has announced who will lead its new Look athletic department. The university spinned its department off into a nonprofit LLC earlier this year. The goal is to make the department more competitive with the new world of college athletics. This week, UK announced that former NFL tight end Jacob Tamme and Keelan CEO and President Shannon Arville will join the board as outside experts. Mitch Barnhart called this move a win for Kentucky.
You know, I said earlier that the flywheel that has been college athletics traditionally for over the years has sort of slowed down a little bit. We got to find a new way to feed it with some new energy, and this gives us the chance to do that.
The other outside expert is former Fanatics executive Chris Prindiville. The 3 experts on the board will serve staggered 1-, 2-, and 3-year terms to start. And coming up, a market that is more than a transaction. We're going to tell you about the West End Farmers Market celebrating fatherhood and local businesses in a community-centered event. And of course, we can't forget the dads. Today, we're celebrating Father's Day. Here's my dad, Jose Alonso Jr. That's right, I'm the 3rd. And I want to say I love you and thanks for teaching me to put my heart into everything that I do. And next, we have reporter Clarice Shaley and her dad, Ken Shaley. We also have photojournalist Aspen Hester with their dad, Jeff Hester, who I know is watching right now. And lastly, our sports anchor, that's going to be Sarandon Raboyne and her dad, Ken Raboyne. Happy Father's Day to all the dads in our lives from us here at WHAS 11. We'll be right back with more news.